Good morning and welcome back to First Look Asia. Researchers began working to create a network of networks in the early 1980s, and this eventually evolved into the World Wide Web, or the Internet as we know it, by 1990.
In 2012, statisticians calculated there were 8.7 billion devices and computers connected in a cyber system. And by 2020, that number will explode to more than 50 billion.
And along with that number, a far greater probability of risks of greatest concern, the threats to cybersecurity. Christine Chan is at a worldwide conference of cyber experts gathered in Singapore today to find out more. Christine, tell us, how do experts rate the threats to cybersecurity today, and what is the prescription or cure?
Well, Yvonne, that is the $50 billion question, isn't it? I'm here at the CIFI Security Summit. It is the first of 8 to be held this year around the world, and Singapore is hosting the very first one of 2017. And I'd like to put that question to an expert at gathering intelligence about cybersecurity. He's Alex Taverner, and he's with, he's the head of cybersecurity at the BAE Systems for Applied Intelligence. Alex, tell us, what does cybersecurity mean?
It means a lot of different things to different people. In the government space, it tends to talk about governance, legislation. In the commercial space, more about managing the risks that we see as we go around our normal business. To the man in the street, though, it could be about the privacy of his information, healthcare information, or even whether his tweets to his friends recently get released to the press or other people that he might not want them to normally see. So it's a number of different things, and we need to address those risks differently to each particular stakeholder group.
Now, in your research and your work, what have you discovered is the greatest of these threats today?
I don't think there's any one single threat which is universal. However, we've seen a number of different geopolitically motivated attacks by nation-state actors, by hacktivists, by insider threats for various of their own beliefs or other reasons. In the commercial space, you only have to look last year. There was the SWIFT network attacks against Bangladesh Bank, and more recently in the Mexico and Polish areas. These are really important for commerce and government, but to the man in the street, maybe the changes in malware or ransomware coming around. So it's very diverse, the area, and our defences to each need to be uniquely targeted. And that's where a lot of the cyber intelligence that we gather helps to protect people by giving them the full warning and an understanding of where these threats are coming from, the motivations, the different personas of the actor groups, and how they can best protect themselves from it.
Now, just very quickly, given all that information, what is your top advice to governments, to the man in the street?
I think there would be very different things. So to the man in the street, there's always the standard ones which we trot out about strong passwords, of not oversharing information on social media, of hi, I'm going away on holiday. But to government, it's a very different focus. They have to look after the populace as a whole. They have to think about critical infrastructure. And quite often the vicarious attacks that someone attacking power infrastructure might impact healthcare provision by knocking out power in a hospital. So government has a very broad responsibility across a number of areas, and we've seen recently even the development of extra skills here in Singapore. The $80 million that was recently announced for extra skills development is really important to start breaching that gap.
Just one final thought. Are you hopeful for the future?
I am, and I'm hoping that we can slowly sway the balance from the attacker to the defender through intelligence and better sophistication in our tooling.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alex, for joining us today. So as you can see, there are many, many more questions raised, and we will be here all day trying to pin down those experts for you and get some of those crucial answers for everyone who's watching in the world. Back to you in the studio.
All right. Thanks very much, Christine. And that was Christine Chan at the CIFI Security Summit in Singapore.